Hey, what it do? TGITT. What does that mean? Thank God it's Thirsty Thursday. We don't do Thank God it's Fridays. We don't do Thank God it's Fridays. It's Thank God it's Thirsty Thursdays because school has corrupted me. Ever since I went there, I went to university, I learned the life of a 4-day work week. Now, in my own ventures, I work 7 days. I work 7 days, pull like 90 hours. But that's for me. Anybody else? Anything else? No, we don't. 4 days is the max you're going to see me, if even that. But with that being said, some updates, right? Bills are paid, which is good. Bills are paid. This whole staying out the car thing and everything has been very effective. There's a lady in the background pushing the shopping cart, but that aside, this whole living out the car thing has been very effective and getting the bills paid, as well as navigating the road bumps caused by other people who still can't seem to get their stuff together and don't understand. I'm out. I'm done, and I'm doing me. Shannon Sharp said it best. You either have a lifetime of discipline or a lifetime of regrets. And while I do not believe in the statement of picking yourself up by your bootstrap, because the origin of that statement is completely satirical, it's meant to say that nobody can actually do that, like literally do that. I do believe in just because the system is rigged and not really for you, doesn't mean you can't make it. Come hell or high water, by the time my book is done, and I hope it's a very lengthy one, I'm going to do everything that I sought out to seek to do. That's the aim anyways. So what's next? Besides shaving again and getting a retwist, now looking for a space, but not just a living space, a studio space, maybe even a car space, maybe a flex space that could work as a photo studio and car space, right? And that's because, as I say, I do photography and videography. So now I'm looking for a space to go further into the career, on LoopNet and a bunch of other spots, seeing what I can get. It's a new experience, right? Because I aim to do stuff in the future, right? I need a space for myself, for my career and everything, but also so I can shoot just content in general. So this is like a completely new experience, like trying to find a spot and everything, whatnot, for like commercial work and things, because I'd never had a commercial space before. I never had a studio before. I never really had my own room that I like really rented before, just for, work purposes. So all this is like completely new. It's all foreign territory. I'm learning as I go and everything. And with that, can also use it to do content and everything else. And speaking of content, I know the audio quality of this is like all bad, right? I've dropped this phone many, many times. It does not have a case on it. It has a screen protector. It does not have a case. That was on me for being lazy. So the back, because it's an iPhone, so we already know, the back is all kinds of messed up. And I just never bother to get it fixed because I put money towards other stuff. Just being lazy and keeping it real with you. I will get a microphone, like an attachment piece and a lavalier, so the audio will get fixed, because I'm an audiophile and I hate when audio is not up to standard, even if I'm just talking into a cell phone. So with that being said, it's the weekend. And how the weekend operates is we don't talk about serious stuff for the most part, at least if I can avoid it. Mental health, trauma, depression, all those other things I'm speaking on, to get rid of those taboos and have them more open. Those are for the other days. The weekend, try to keep it more lighthearted. And as you see by the title, today is about retail, because I spent 2 years working retail and will never do that again. So speaking on my retail experience, I worked 2 years at a Kohl's. It was Would I go back to it? No. I would never do retail again. But it wasn't that it was the most miserable experience. It was that it was the most soul-crushing by being a dead-end experience. It was good as a stepping stone, to get money, to work, to help pay for me going through community college and my phone bill and everything else. But over the time, I realized the job was taking up more and more of my time. Can't do this, gotta work. Can't do that, gotta work. Can't do this, gotta work. Oh, I gotta go community college now. Oh, I gotta play like sports. I was in JUCO at the time. Damn, gotta go back to work. But it was taking up more of my time without really giving anything back besides the money, which wasn't even great because this was 2014. So I was making a whopping $8.25. When you think of your time as labor, $8.25 hits pretty damn hard on what the hell am I doing? Spend 4 hours on a shift? The only thing I'm thinking is just sold myself for these 4 hours of my finite time for $8.25. It was worse during the day. If I had like a 4-hour shift during the day, midday, and it was during the summer, spring, fall, whatever, as this is in a place called Hamilton Marketplace, right? And sometimes during nice days in Hamilton Marketplace, there would be a car meet of older people, elderly, like people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and they would just meet up and hang out and bring their cars and nice classics, Chevelles, Cudas, Cadillacs, clean. Oh, those are some beautiful cars. Old school cars, 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s, all from just that era, nothing new. And I would see these people and I would just look at them from inside the store, especially if I happened to be on cashier at the time, if I was just being a replacement. And I would be looking at them and I would be like Squidward when he was looking at Patrick and SpongeBob having fun. And I'm just like, why? Why am I here? What am I doing? I want to be out there with them, but I'm inside making $8.25. My bills are paid, the small bills at the time. Life is still hectic, but my bills are paid, and I'm able to get to school and have my bus pass and everything. But I can't do this anymore. I need to advance. It wasn't until like a new supervisor came, and I don't remember her name, and she wasn't even like a terrible person or anything. But she came, she'd help out in the men's department and everything, and I was just, as always, I talk to people. Like I talk when I'm at work and everything. I communicate, but do know I'm just a coworker. There is none of that work family, we're Kohl's family or anything how other people would do. They would go out to drink and everything. They'd go to Panera Bread together during their breaks and go get a bunch of food. Like I wasn't doing that. I'm making $8.25. If I'm working 4 hours, if I get food from Panera Bread, that makes my first hour or two irrelevant. I just worked for free. So I'm not doing that. And then people would gossip and everything else. All the drama that happens in workplaces, talk about bosses, but don't have the balls to say it. I did. I actually confronted one of the managers in the dock and back in the storage space and everything because he said something, didn't like it, went off and walked up to him. I was like, hey, yo. Well, we talked about it. It wasn't even like a threatening thing. I mean, he might have probably thought I was going to beat him up because I'm such a big dude. No, it was just, I was willing to do what other people weren't willing to do. And a lot of people did not like me because of that, because I came in, did my job, left. And I definitely let people know that I don't like you. I'm not your friend. I'm not about the bullshit. One time there was a lady, Erica, and Erica knew I didn't like her. Italian lady, probably in her 30s, mid-30s. I was in my early 20s, probably in her 30s. Came in, was talking, stopped talking the moment I came in and looked up to me. And the first thing I said, I was like, what? What am I missing? I was like, why are we everybody quiet now that I'm here? Should I keep talking? Because I know I would. Just type things like that, like just pulling their card, because I'm not about the BS. But anyways, the new manager came and we were just talking. And she told me she was with the company for 20 years. Like, I don't know how that conversation came up, but when she said that, a bulb went off in my head. It was a red bulb. It was a red bulb that burst. And it burst because it was telling me, danger. This lady just said she's been here for 20 years. And I'm not judging her for working for 20 years. But she just said she's been here for 20 years. She's been with this company for 20 years. There's no advancement in this company. She's just still, she don't even work for corporate. She's down here on the floor. Do not get caught up in this. That was like my first major epiphany while working there, because I began to get caught up into just working like how everybody else does. You work, pay your bills, do what else. Work, pay your bills, do what else. Work, pay your bills, do what else. And I was in community college at the time. And when she said that, I began to notice I wasn't working on certain things anymore. I wasn't working on my photography. I wasn't working on like my editing skills. I wasn't really working on anything. I kind of fell into the grind of society that everybody else falls into, and just was becoming metaphorically like a worker drone. The moment that one lady told me that whole illusion shattered. And I realized, oh, hell no. I have to get the hell out of this. Because then I really realized what I wasn't doing. I really had stopped working on things. I had my first camera was a Canon Rebel. This is from 2004. My photography teacher gave it to me. She bought a new camera and she gave me her old one. That was officially my first camera, because we had a great relationship and I was pretty good at what I did. But I wasn't using my camera much. I wasn't taking it out. I wasn't taking any photos. As I said, just wasn't doing anything. Just working. And the work, as I said, is soul crushing, because it was just so dead end. There's nothing more depressing than being at a job, and especially selling yourself for $8.25. I wasn't a cashier, but sometimes I'll go up and cashier. And the one thing that always bothered me with being a cashier was selling people credit. The push to sell people credit, because that's what Kohl's do. You were pushed to have a credit goal for the day. And that bothered me a lot, because I'm being pushed to sell these people debt. I'm being pushed to open up a card for people, young, old, some that don't even really seem like they know how credit works. So this corporation that I'm working for can have them indebted to them for 15% off. And the most I get out of it is a quarter, 15 cents, something around that line. This is nothing. For every card you open up, you get like 15 to 25 cents. It didn't sit right with me. It still doesn't sit right with me to this day. And what made it worse, right, and gave it that like kind of dystopian feel in a way, is when you got somebody to open credit, you then got a bell, hit the little bell, and it goes do do, and it goes over the speaker, so everybody that works there knows, hey, somebody just opened a new card, yay. No, not at all. It just bothered me so much. Like, I would always just stand there just wondering, like, what are we doing? Like, why is this acceptable? Does nobody else have an issue with this? You guys are just like so caught up into the job and how they're pushing this thing. It's the stuff to us to be happy about it because, hey, it's your job and, you know, you're making an extra cents. And Kohl's family and all this other stuff. Woohoo! And I'm like, no, this is pretty fucked up, actually. This is peak capitalism. Like, this is exploitative as shit. And when it comes to exploitation, I don't like it. And it really just bothered me. It bothered me so much. It bothered me to my core, to the point that I pretty much never asked for credit. Supervisors and everyone tried to get on me for that. And they're like, oh, we need you to like push more credit and things. I'm like, yeah, cool, I'll do it. And I'll like ask one person. And then for the rest of the day, I didn't do it again. And this isn't really related, but I later learned that a Kohl's card was opened in my name. So now I just have further beef with that whole system. Went on because somebody opened a card in my name. I got it fixed. I found it on my credit report and got it fixed. But you best believe I was heated when I learned about that last year. I haven't worked in Kohl's since 2016. So you have all that. The manager who worked at Kohl's for 20 years, supervisor I meant to say. This whole credit system that I was just completely disillusioned with. The graphic tees, which I forgot to follow back up on. Which graphic tees are the worst. If you've ever worked any type of retail clothing environment, graphic tees are the absolute worst because you fold them, they're going to get messed up almost immediately. Somebody's going to come through and just start rifling through them. And guess what? You're then going to go back and fold them. Sometimes you don't even get to leave after you've folded them up and have them all aligned and presentable. You'll do them, go to the next table, and a person will come through and just... I've never wanted to do a manhunt style kill animation on a person until watching them destroy the clothes I just made presentable, not even 60 seconds after I did it. Now I'm at the next table watching them, staring at them, boring holes through their head with my eyes with complete contempt and hate. Graphic tees. If you know, you know. But what made it all even worse was learning how much money that store was making. I think in a year that store had made like 20 million or something. My number might be off because, like I said, it's been some time and I don't really remember. But it was an M in there. There were M's. There were millions in profits for that one store. And when you hear about a store making a whole bunch of money, meanwhile, you're making a whole bunch of nothing. $8.25 to be particular. You feel some type of way about it. Did I expect to make millions for like folding clothes and being a associate in a men's department, you know, helping people get their size and everything, and basically just being a cool dude? No, not at all. Did I feel some type of way that I was in a store making $8.25 while the store makes millions? Absolutely. What ended up happening with this whole retail experience, right? And a part of the reason why I also went off to university is a lot of older people in my life saw that I wanted to do more and were just telling me, hey, take that leap, move on. This city will always be here. It's not going to change. Meanwhile, working at Kohl's, there was an older black guy named Benny, who I just recently ran into when I went back to that Kohl's to buy some stuff because I still know when they do clearance. And me and Benny were talking about life as well and other things, right? And I was just talking about like my goals, my dreams, in like photography and everything, having a career, wanting to do more, really wanting more out of life, and just being disillusioned like the way things are now. Like I need more out of life. I got to go get it. Like there's a reason I'm in school, because I know I want to open a production company and do this, that, and the third. And it's like just so many things I want to do, and the hurdles seem like so big because I'm the only person doing it. And as he told me, he was like, man, just go for it. It's like, this store is always going to be here. It's a Kohl's. It's going nowhere. But your opportunities, like while you're young and whatnot, your opportunities are limitless. This is just a store. Basically, that's how that conversation went. So I thought about it. I was thinking about it. And as my third Black Friday was coming, I just didn't want to be there anymore. I wake up, go to work, and I would stand there just checking people out, and I was mentally checked out. Like mentally gone. I was not focused in work anymore. Be helping people out or folding things in the fitting room and just spaced out. I had completely checked out from the job. There we go. Mentally checked out. And one day, probably about like a week or two before Black Friday, I woke up and I was like, do I want to go to work? Nah, I went right back to sleep. With the attendance policy, you get 2 no-call, no-shows in a row, and you're automatically terminated. I knew this. Then I think I went off to school, did whatever I wanted to do, had like a productive day. Went to bed, woke up the following day, got up early. I think it's like 6 o'clock. I think I had to be there like at 8. Alarm's going off and everything. I'm looking at my phone, laying in bed, laying on my futon actually. I'm just like, do I want to go back to work? I didn't give them 2 weeks, but they're a corporation. If I give them 2 weeks, it doesn't matter because they won't do the same for me. So do I quit and go back to bed, or do I go to work? It took me 3 seconds to take my ass right back to sleep, knowing damn well I ain't going back to that job. I quit. And that's how I quit retail. I no-called, no-showed, just didn't go back. Did it absolutely on purpose. I don't feel bad about it either. I was never going to give a 2 weeks notice. Bump that. Didn't care then. Still don't care now. Never worked retail again. In fact, there's a Walmart nearby. So the next day I had to go to Walmart to get something. So I stopped by the job pretending like I was going to clock in, because even though I purposely quit, I didn't need them to know that I purposely quit, because I might have needed the manager as a reference. So I was going to clock in. I was like, oh, what's happening and everything. The manager was talking to me. He was like, oh, well, the way the system is, you've been late a lot of times. Like a lot of people have been late at that job. A lot of people have been late. So he's like, this and that. I was like, oh man, really? Oh man, that's crazy. I didn't realize it was the things stacked up like that. He was like, yeah, all right, yeah. He was like, but it was good to have you around and everything. I was like, yeah, you're right. It's great to have you. Hopefully, like, if I need you and everything, I'll talk to you. And he's like, yeah. And, like, we're amicable about this, shook hands and things. Me knowing damn well in my head, I quit that job on fucking purpose. And that I was bullshitting my ass off while we were talking. Because I needed just a little bit of silver line, a little bit of saving grace in case I needed them. Never needed them. And now I can tell this story because I ain't shit when it comes to certain things. I did all that knowing damn well I was bullshitting. Like, I was only up there because Walmart's around the corner. And so I just used that as an opportunity to, like, talk about things and make it seem like some stuff happened. And that's the reason why I no-called, no-showed, and me being utterly surprised that I was terminated, smoothing over everything. So just in case I need the place as a reference, I'm going to use them because I still was likable enough with, like, the manager and everybody that people didn't thought something happened and had no idea. I fucking quit. It just didn't tell nobody. I ain't shit when it comes to corporations. I'm gonna let y'all know right now. And I don't feel no regrets. But that's how I quit retail. Now let me say this. What I did there was completely a you ain't shit type move. And I knew it, but at the same time, really didn't care. As a massive corporation making a lot of money, I'm disillusioned with this whole system. But at the same time, I'm going to take advantage of what I can take advantage for it to work in my favor. I don't believe in taking advantage of people, but I do believe in taking advantage of systems, especially systems that have more leverage than you do. You know what I'm saying? I am 100% a believer in punching up. And so that's what I did. We'll never work retail again. So yeah, fuck retail. That's all I gotta say. See y'all in the next video.